You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Hi, this is Katie.
And this is Nathan.
And you're listening to Queen's Podcast, the show about women in history.
Spooky. It's
Spooky
season.
Halloween is here.
And I'm excited.
Yes. All right. Well, so last Patreon episode, we talked about the ghost of Hampton Court Palace. Nathan did a deep dive into the ghost, and I was like, well, a long time ago, I visited Warwick Castle. That's supposed to be haunted as fuck. So why don't we do another spooky season episode on Warwick Castle?
Haunted castles. Like, there's so much history here.
I
how can we
know.
not do it on Halloween?
Like, I kind of had to pick and choose what stories to tell for this one because Warwick Castle is one of the oldest castles in England. So it's like there was a lot. And just a little backstory. I went to Warwick Castle in 2014. It was like my first castle besides the Tower of London to go to. And it was just such a different experience. So it kind of like started my love of doing spooky shit in old ass castles. Yes. And I loved it so much. And the town that it's in is just adorable. So, but my favorite part of the visit there is we did a haunted tour.
Ooh.
There's lots of shit to get into.
I'm
Yes.
excited. Halloween.
So, let's just do like a little backstory first, though.
Okay.
So just some history, because like I said, it's a really old fucking
Well, I mean,
building.
we are a history podcast.
We are a
so you
history
would
podcast.
expect that from us?
Yeah, you wouldn't expect us to skim over that part. So where the castle stands now, in the year 914 AD, the great-granddaughter of Alfred the Great, her Ethelfled, she built a fortress there to fight off the Danes. Do you remember in our Emma of Normandy episode about like how the Danish people, the Vikings, were? So
Well, we all know how the Vikings are.
Yes. So Alfred the Great's great-granddaughter. Oh, I'm sorry. Alfred the Great's daughter. Okay, Nathan, I have a confession. I have been living in my earbuds lately because Audible just dropped a brand new Pride and Prejudice, and it is everything.
Same. And not just any audiobook. This is an Audible original performed by a full cast. It's intimate, vibrant, modern, and it's got an original score by a Grammy-nominated composer. Honestly, it feels like Bridgerton meets Broadway in my headphones.
And let's give this cast their flowers. It stars Marisa Abella from Industry as our girl Elizabeth Bennet, Harris Dickinson as Mr. Darcy, and Glenn Close herself, the icon, as Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Like, hello.
Yeah, and when I tell you Marisa Abella brings you right inside Lizzie Bennet's stubborn, brilliant, messy little brain, it's like sipping tea with her while she side-eyes Darcy.
Exactly. And before enemies to lovers was the whole romantic genre that it is today, there was Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. One of the greatest romances of all time, y'all.
Whether it's your first time or your 50th trip to Longbourn, this fresh modern take will have you falling in love with Austen's classics all over again.
So listen to the new Pride and Prejudice at audible.com/Jane Austen. That's audible.com/Jane Austen. Ethelfled, she built this fortress in 914. So ever since then, there has been some kind of structure on the spot where Warwick Castle stands today.
So you still have some of the old stones there that hold
Maybe.
the energy.
Yes.
Feeling it.
It's just always been a really strategic place to have like a fortress. So then in 1068, this little known dude named William the Conqueror comes in. Yeah, maybe you've heard of him. And he builds the first castle, like actual castle to stand on that land. And so some people argue, is this like one of the oldest building that would be considered a castle in modern day England?
What we know of, what we can see.
So this land where Warwick Castle stands has been really strategic and important in England for a long fucking time. And the next generation over, after William the Conqueror, William II gave the castle to this guy named Henry de Beaumont. And
Beaumont, Texas, y'all.
Beaumont, Texas, y'all. And Henry de Beaumont was made the first Earl of Warwick. Bada bing, bada boom, Warwick Castle.
Okay, making sense.
Yeah.
Trekking along.
Trekking along, yeah. Then in the 1200s, they actually started putting in more money to make it like actually livable, because it kind of was more just for military purposes. And so they start putting in a drawbridge and
They built this castle. Boom,
boom,
boom.
boom.
They built this castle on Ookie Spooky.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So here are some other just fun facts about Warwick Castle. So you remember Isabella of France, the one that overthrew her husband? Her husband's probably lover, Piers Gaveston, he was executed. He was imprisoned in Warwick Castle to await his
Yes, I remember this
execution.
from our she-wolf. It's the she-wolf. Come on, yes. Get it, queen.
And then, of course, Warwick from the Wars of the Roses, a.k.a. the Kingmaker. He held Edward IV in Warwick Castle while they were doing like the try to take over. Remember, like, whenever he took Edward prisoner and then just like
so
didn't
there's
have
lots of drama happening
here for sure. Yeah. During the gunpowder plot, do you know what the gun the Guy
yeah,
Fawkes
no,
thing?
I remember that.
So during the gunpowder plot of James I, when the conspirators were hanging out in Warwick, and when they learned that the gunpowder plot was like not going great, they stole horses from the Warwick Castle stables to escape. I think they were all caught, but still, like, so.
Hey, fun.
Lots of fun history tied in with this castle.
Yes,
But then,
I love it.
yes. But then in 1978, the family that owned it was going broke. If you watch like Downton Abbey, like around that time, all the quote unquote peasants started getting jobs in like factories and stuff. And all these rich people that lived in castles started becoming cash poor. And then they got these castles that they have to keep up, but they don't have any money to keep these massive castles up with. So they would start opening them up for tourism. So that's kind of what the family that owned it started doing, kind of like in the 40s and 50s. But by the 70s, they were just like, we cannot afford to own this place anymore. And they sold it to an entertainment company. And that's who owns it today. So no one has actually lived there since the 70s. And it's been renovated and touched up. There's a gift shop, there's a coffee shop, there's a bar. There's like when I went, do you remember from the early 2000s that show Merlin? Or maybe it's like from the 2010s.
Yes.
It was like the live action British show. When I went, they were like, there was lots of like Merlin activities to do. Like you could tell it was owned by like
it was themed.
Yeah, like it was actually
like a company.
Yeah, it was really cute though. We went into this one room where the dragon from that show was talking, but there was obviously some guy in like a room somewhere. Because at one point I was like digging for something in my purse, and he was like, "You there, looking in your bag? Is this not entertaining enough for you?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize you were sentient." Yep, hi.
I feel seen.
I feel seen. Yeah. So it's very cutesy, but there is still like a lot of things left to look like stuck in history, basically.
Cool.
So one spooky wooky thing is that there is a dungeon in Warwick Castle.
Ooh.
Yes. Now, when I went to visit, I don't know how they do it now, but at least when I went to visit, you didn't go into the dungeon as part of like the ghost tour. Like they actually made the dungeon kind of more like a fun house, like a spooky fun house. They had actors dressed up like zombies. They had weird mirrors, so like you kind of put you in a maze. Because I think that they wanted to try to make light of, just make it not as depressing. And it was actually, the dungeon was kind of cute whenever we went. I'm going to send you this picture that's in our living room.
So it wasn't like a sex dungeon.
No, it was like a...
Damn, one of those.
It was like a torture and kill people dungeon.
Oh, so they wanted to make it happy and fun so that it wasn't so tragic and dark. Okay.
Yes. So I just sent you this picture. Like they did little plays down there. And so while we were there, they were doing witch trial plays for some reason. And I got put on trial for being a witch. And then they put me behind like this screen and I got to pretend like I was getting decapitated. It was a lot of, because they were like, "Where were you last night?" And I pointed at Steve. I was like, "I was with him." And they were like, "You conjured him up." And so then we did like I'll post this on Instagram of me and my husband from 2014, where he's pretending to cut off my head.
R.I.P. bangs.
Yeah, I know. I was in my bangs era. Sometimes I think about cutting them again.
They're cute. You look cute with bangs.
They're just so much maintenance. Anyway.
They are.
So that is, so that's everything you need to know about really the past and present of Warwick Castle. So let's talk about...
time to talk a ghost details.
Yes. So first, let's meet Sir Fulke Greville, the first Baron of Brooke. The Greville family owned Warwick Castle. Like when it got sold in the 70s, the Greville family still owned it.
Oh, wow.
And he got the castle in 1604. So it was in that family's line for a really, really long time. And this is the most famous ghost. However, I will say that a lot of people that take this shit really seriously don't dispute if this guy's ghost is there. They're like, well, no one started mentioning that this ghost was there until the castle got opened up for tourism.
Okay, so they're like the underground, like they're like, oh, that's too mainstream for me.
Yeah, it is the most famous ghost story from there. There's a website called Warwick, which I guess is just people that are really into their heritage in the town of Warwick. And like their website was like, no, that ghost is not there. But do your own research, people. Do whatever you want. But I'm just telling you the most famous ghost story. Okay. So there was this guy, Sir Fulke Greville. And he actually, I want to at some point sit down and do some more research on him because he seems cool as fuck. He was a poet. He was a philosopher during the Elizabethan era and the beginning of the Stuarts era as well. He got the castle, Warwick Castle, in 1604. And at that point, no one had lived in it in a really, really long time. And it was just falling to shit. And so he spent the equivalent of modern day $8 million renovating it.
Holy shit.
And it was like a passion project for him. I get the vibe that he loved this castle and he loved the history of it. He put in a lot of time in making the grounds and the gardens look beautiful and just general repair.
Restoring it to its natural beauty.
Yes. And I mean, it's not a small castle. It's huge. So it was a lot of work. I don't feel like it's a huge leap, though, that after he died, even if he didn't die in the castle, he might have a lot of residual energy left there.
Yeah, because he rebuilt it and he rebuilt this castle.
Boom.
But he had so much love and passion for it that maybe there was a certain area or a certain room or a certain thing that his energy was attached to.
It's funny you say that because while the castle was being renovated, there is this it's called the Watergate Castle or the Water Tower Castle, but now it's more commonly known as the Ghost Tower. It's called...
I wonder what's going to happen here.
It's called the Watergate Tower or something like that, but now it's more commonly known as the Ghost Tower because like that's where he lived while he was renovating everything, and that's what people say they see his ghost. But okay, how did he become a ghost?
Huh?
It seems that while he was making his will, he didn't have... I also kind of wonder if this guy is gay, which we'll also get into just a little bit, because he was, I'm not saying that only gay men are into poetry and flowers, though I will say putting that much energy into the gardens as a single man that's a little gay. But he never married. He never had any children. He never had any illegitimate children. Confirmed bachelor, which a lot of times in history I think means gay guy. So he's making his will, and he had this one. I kept seeing them call him a manservant. So does that mean like your butler or something?
No, manservant sounds like it was Mr. Slave from South Park.
But no, it was like somebody that worked for him for like decades or whatever. So he's making his will. His manservant dude named Ralph Haywood was only going to get 20 pounds a year. I don't know what the conversion is, but Ralph was like, that is unacceptable, and went a little mad and lost his shit and stabbed Sir Fulke like 2 or 3 times.
Okay, that's not a little mad, Katie. That's a lot of bit mad.
And
this is a super crazy.
And then turned the knife on himself and took his own life. This happened in London, though. So I was already reading about this guy being like, is this guy gay? And then one of his butler flips out like this.
It literally says, I gave you my whole life and you're not going to give me but 20 pounds a year. Like, of course he's going to go crazy.
But I also wonder if they were lovers.
Oh, had to be.
Had
Like,
okay.
that's part of it, that, like, it couldn't just be about money to kill somebody, it's gotta be about there's something else
Yeah.
there.
So Sir Fulke did not die of his wounds immediately. He lived for another 4 weeks. He lived for another 4 weeks.
Still bad.
Um, this is really gross. Do you want to hear something gross, or should I not say it? Like the
Yeah.
treatment for his stab wounds.
Okay, let's just run
Okay.
through it as fast as you can.
The doctors stuffed his wounds with pig fat, thinking that that would like help something, but instead it rotted and
Oh,
he got an
God.
infection. And that's like what
Oh, well, no
for
wonder.
4 weeks. Like, oh my God.
Oh,
Old timey medicine
oh,
is such a nightmare. Yeah.
yeah,
So his passing was neither swift nor painless. Like I said, he died in London, but they brought his body to lay in state at Warwick before being buried in the town nearby. But people
okay.
say that his spirit is in the castle still, and most notably in the tower, the ghost tower, where he lived while he was renovating the castle. And people report seeing his spirit there. Though everything I read
Mhm.
said that, the first sighting of him supposedly wasn't until the 20s. So people think that like maybe it was made up when when the castle first got opened up for
Tourism,
That being said, let's hear the ghost stories anyway.
yes.
Because Watergate Tower is often just straight up called Ghost Tower, and enough people have claimed to see Fulke's ghost there, let's pay attention to that. Like I said, he lived there while he was renovating it, so I'm not surprised that his spirit wouldn't gravitate back there. But people say that they'll often, out of the corner of their eye, just see like a really sad looking man. I
Oh,
know
that's
I
depressing.
know. People have also said that they hear two men arguing. And even though,
Hmm,
him getting, like, the scene with him getting stabbed didn't take place in the castle, again, if his energy's there, who knows what it's replaying, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm sure there were arguments there
Yeah.
at some point.
But they also think that he might be sad because during the English Civil War, the gardens at Warwick got tore up.
Oh, and he was attached to the gardens,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not uncommon for spirits to be attracted to flowers
Oh,
and
really?
like things like that. Yeah, that nature, pretty flowers and greenery and stuff like that. Spirits can be attached
Okay.
to those sort of things. Yes.
Okay. I was watching a YouTube video on my phone of like some ghost hunters and some mediums that went to Warwick Castle. And the ghost hunter guy, the medium guy, was asking Sir Fulke if he was gay. And he said that he felt like he was going to be violently ill and just like felt like really malice. So maybe he doesn't want us talking about him being gay. But, you know,
Well, I mean, back in the day, that makes
yeah.
sense. That tracks.
Yes. And then lastly, there's also a painting of Sir Fulke somewhere else in the castle. And people say that they'll often see just like an unnatural shadow laying over the portrait, like in a way, like where
Oh.
there's no sun coming in at this angle, so there shouldn't be a shadow. So he might still
Mm.
be there and he might be kind of pissed off.
I would be too if I was murdered and had to like get my wounds stuffed with pig fat and rot.
Ugh.
Like, no, 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 I would be unhappy too. And I was closeted. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. No.
I mean, I guess moral of the story is fair wages. Pay people fairly. I don't
I guess
I
so.
guess. I don't know.
I guess so. That's the moral of that story.
Maybe.
What's the next one,
All
Katie?
right.
Okay, y'all, cooler days are here, and you know I'm about to live in layers. That's why Quince has become my ride or die for fall. We're talking a $50 Mongolian cashmere. Yes, real cashmere that doesn't break the bank. Denim that hugs in all the right places, coats that look like I robbed a designer showroom but cost way, way less. Honestly, the quality is just as good, if not better. I've been rocking their cashmere crew necks like it is my podcasting uniform. Cozy enough to edit all day, cute enough to wear out to happy hour. And the secret? Quince works directly with ethical, top-tier factories that cut out the middlemen. Translation: luxury without being Eleanor of Aquitaine looking for I need a King Richard size ransom over here price tag. So queens, treat yourself. Find your fall staple at Quince. Go to quince.com/queenspod for free shipping and 365-day returns. And hey, our Canadian listeners, guess what? You're in the club too now. That's QUINCE.com/queenspod. 35 gigabytes. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. And here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Story time. A while back, I got my phone bill and genuinely thought I was being charged for like a Henry VIII banquet. What is going on here? It was that high. But then a friend told me about Mint Mobile. I switched, I kept my phone, I kept my contacts, and y'all, that first $15 a month bill hit, and I felt like I'd just pulled off a royal heist. With Mint Mobile, I ditched my old overpriced wireless plan and its jaw-dropping bills, surprise overages, and sneaky little fees. All Mint plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, all delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And the best part, you can keep your own phone and number, and there's no awkward new phone, who dis, text to your friends. Honestly, the service has been just as good, if not better, than my old provider, and the savings are amazing. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/queens. That's mintmobile.com/queens. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
So next up, we have the black dog. This goes to your doggy. So
Katie could not pass it up. She passed up the infinite number of dead humans, but she went straight for the dead doggy because they're sad.
Well, no, this dog. Okay, we got things to say about this dog. Okay, so this starts with sometime that may have been, I couldn't find exactly when this was supposed to have happened, but let's say late 1400s, early 1500s-ish. So Wars of the Roses kind of time. In the dungeons when they still held prisoners there was a woman who stole from the Earl in the dungeon. Her name was Moll, Moll, and she was held in like really shitty conditions in the dungeon. And then for like punishment was like publicly humiliated, not executed. I don't know what publicly humiliated means, but I don't want to. And she felt like that the punishment far exceeded the crime. So when she was finally released, she cast a spell on the castle and the town and then disappeared. And a rabid dog, like a Great Dane-sized dog that was black with red glowing eyes, started stalking the town and the castle. It was like tearing up shit, chasing people all around, ruining the gardens, killing any like squirrels or bunnies or any like the animals that he saw, and like just terrifying everybody. People were terrified of this dog. And eventually someone did kill the dog, which I don't love, but if it's rabid, you're doing it a favor, you know?
Yeah, it's like Old Yeller.
Yeah.
Like, it's very sad, but you got to do it because he might bite your
They're
kids.
like, does rabies make dogs have red glowing eyes? That's new to me, but okay. But the dog was like, fuck that shit, and came back as a ghost. And people sometimes say they can still see, like, if they go into a room that's dark, they'll see, like, the glowing eyes. They'll hear the growling.
It's like Cujo, but dead.
Yes. However, some people say that this is actually Moll. That, like, maybe she was a shapeshifter.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Interesting. Because there is that whole thing, like especially in like Celtic stuff, where they were shapeshifters and changed from animal to animal.
It's interesting you said that, though, because like while I was trying to learn more about Moll and the black dog, I came across an article about the Celtic traditions about ghost dogs or something like that. Like, I didn't read too much of it, but I was like, so people were basically saying by the time of the Wars of the Roses, the story about the ghost dog was like already a running tradition, like old. So
Oh.
But I mean, these lands
But I
are
mean,
so
like,
fucking
with what
old.
happened with Maul, like, that whole
Yeah.
they are, and, like, what happened with Maul is she had, like, public humiliation, and public humiliation, I'm imagining, is, like, when they make you walk down the street
Or
and they
like
yell,
flog
"Horror,"
yeah.
or,
Or like get flogged or
or
something.
flog you, or,
Yeah.
like, everybody's yelling stuff at
Yeah.
you, and they're all calling you
Exactly.
names, so that could be traumatic, and she's like, "You know what? Fuck you guys, I'm a dog
I'm a
now.
dog now, and I'm gonna
I'm a
yeah.
demon dog."
Yes. So we might come back to Maul later. I don't know. Next, we're going to talk about one of the lesser known spirits of Warwick Castle, but I want to talk about her because it ties a little bit to your ghost story from Hampton Court, and then ties us to a more interesting story as well. So now we're going to talk about the Gray Lady.
Ooh, gray ladies always in
Yes,
castles. Cause what castle's not a castle
the
without a gray
Lady. There's
lady?
always a Gray Lady ghost, but some say that the Gray Lady is Maul, the witch woman. But I get the vibes. I get the
Oh,
vibes that it's not, because it doesn't seem angry, and I feel like Maul would be a little bit of a menacing spirit. So now, the Gray Lady, like I said, isn't one of the more known stories, or like the ones that people really talk about, because it kind of seems like only people in that Greville family have seen her, the Gray Lady. A countess that lived in the castle in the 1920s would tell anyone that listened, I see this gray apparition of a woman standing in doorways, and then I blink and she's gone. I'll feel like someone's looking at me. I'll turn my head. She's there, then she's gone. And in fact, it really only seems like this Countess, Anne, who we're going to talk about more in a minute, and people in the immediate family are really the only people that would talk about the Gray Lady. So I wonder if she's more tied to the family than the castle.
oh, like an ancestor or
Or something.
something,
Or
or
yeah, I mean, because that family owned the castle from 1604 till 1978. They didn't continuously live there all the time, but still, that's a lot of years. That's a lot of that's a lot of generational trauma that could be hanging out, you know? Some people would say, well, maybe Maul put a curse on the castle or something, and so the families are tied to it. Because, some people that would say that might also point to, after the Wars of the Roses, the Earls of Warwick didn't have a great time. I mean, because there was Warwick died in war, and then his grandson, Edward, that, got put in the Tower of London his entire life and then got executed along with Perkin Warbeck. So maybe Maul is following the families that own the castle as a curse.
So don't own the castle, y'all. Don't buy the castle.
Yeah.
Even if you see it on a hot flash sale,
Don't buy the castle.
it.
But no, it kind of seems like the Gray Lady might be tied with the family. Is she Maul? Is she some other entity? Who knows? But I do want to talk about the relationship with some of the countesses of Warwick with the supernatural. Are you excited to hear that? This is a lot of fun. I want to kind of spend more time one day just learning more about these two countesses of Warwick back to back. So first there was Anne Greville, the fourth Countess of Warwick for this, like the Greville family new creation or whatever. So by the time Anne was living in the castle, it had been in the possession of the Grevilles for a long, 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 long time, all the way back to Sir Fulke. But now we're in Victorian times. So that's almost 300 years, And you'll remember from our Victoria Woodhull episodes that the Victorian era people loved mysticism, seances, all that shit. And this countess was no exception. So she would see the Gray Lady. She would hear moaning and groaning randomly. Maybe she saw the black dog ghost, but it was just like so frequent for her that she was just like, I want to better understand what the fuck is going on here. So she called in a professional and they tried to communicate with the dead. And the transcript of two of their different attempts has been taken down. So she took it down. They did this thing where it's basically you hold a pen with this like contraption, kind of like, the little triangle that you put on a Ouija board. You hold a pen with like one of those, and the ghost supposedly is supposed to write through you, right? And tell you what they want to say. It's called like spirit writing or something. And so she did at least 2 of these sessions, wrote down the transcript or kept the spirit writings, sealed it in an envelope that she sealed like with wax and marked it something like receipts from blah, 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 and put it into the archives. And it wasn't found until 2018.
Oh, wow. Holy
So
shit.
it's like a really recent that they found it. So they were practicing this spirit writing, her and this wackadoodle medium guy that she knew. The Countess would hear a lot of loud noises. So she's like, who's causing these loud noises? And in these transcripts we found, she spoke to a ghost named Edward Jameson. We don't know who fucking he was. Edward Jameson said that him and his buddies used to work at the castle at some point in history, and they stole some shit and hid it somewhere in the castle. And like, so now it's their punishment in the afterlife is that they're stuck there because they were stealing. But whatever they stole is still hidden somewhere in the castle. Who the fuck knows? And so she's like, oh, okay. Can you fucking stop being so noisy? Like, I can't sleep. Y'all are really freaking out my kids. And Edward's just like, no, haha, LOL. Ghost gonna ghost.
Not going anywhere.
Yep. And she's just like, well, you're driving me crazy. Can we like pray for you and maybe you'll go away? And he's like, I don't know. Y'all can try. The second transcript.
LOLs.
Yeah, LOLs. I don't know. The second transcript was written so like, it seems like, I guess in the first one, they were able to be like, okay, well, we're going to stop this now. And I was like, okay, bye. And the second one just stops really abruptly. So who knows if maybe, obviously the Countess, even though this was something that was like popular to do back then, obviously there's some level of either shame or she didn't like what was coming through or something for her to seal this and hide it so well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Especially back then, because back then she wasn't really worried about what people thought about seances because it was normal.
It was like, it was
like
a
that
trend.
was normal back
Yeah.
then.
And she did other seances too there that she did tell people about. So it's kind of like, yeah. But one of the things in the transcripts I think is so weird. It said, this is Ben, supposedly, leave this all to future research. The power at work is not that of the mortals in the castle. To future research. What the fuck does that even mean?
Aliens.
Or maybe like people finding it now. And I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but I think it's cool. Yeah. So we have no idea if she was able to get Ben to leave her alone, but she was so vocal about like all the things that she heard in the castle that her son even like talked about her seances and her hauntings in his book that he would write later. And he was like, my mom was nonstop complaining about how haunted the castle was. I never saw any of that shit, but she saw a gray lady. She heard noises. She said that she once saw a little girl like carrying a bunch of flowers, and then the little girl just kind of disappeared into like a wall or whatever. And the son was like, I never saw any of that shit, but I don't disbelieve my mother either because she was so distressed about it. So that son, Francis, the 5th Earl of Warwick, must have liked his ladies a little bit on the woo-woo kookadoodle side because
woo-woo kookadoodle.
Yes. His wife, a woman named Daisy, was into the same kind of stuff. And now I really want to learn more about Daisy one day because she seems really, really interesting.
Daisy somehow resonates with you.
Well, do you know that song, Daisy, Daisy, give me your hand? That was written about this Daisy. She was a socialite before she was a countess, and she made riding bicycles popular. And you know how at the end of that song it says, "You'll meet upon a seat of a bicycle built for two."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. She
Huh.
was a really popular socialite before she became a countess. But once she was a countess, she became really famous for her parties that she would throw at Warwick Castle. And somehow the parties would always end up with seances and spooky whoopy shit going on because she also,
I feel like this is you in a past life.
I'm very into her. I'm very into her. Yeah.
Or your spirit guide, maybe.
Maybe I am into her. But she also believed that Warwick Castle was haunted, thought that she would see like the gray lady and hear noises. And I guess her husband was like, yeah, my mom did too. I don't. And she was like, well, I'm going to look into this some more.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast Gems.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
One of these parties, she invited, do you know the name Alistair Crowley?
Yes, I do.
Who's Alistair Crowley?
Alistair Crowley is like the occulty guy, right?
Yeah.
Like he was an English occultist and was really into that ooky spooky
Sex magic.
magic stuff.
Yes.
Sex magic, yes. So he was wonder what this party was like.
Right? So she did a seance with Alistair Crowley in this one bedroom of the house. So they did a seance in this one bedroom of the house. And some believe that after this event, the hauntings ramped up. So, like, maybe they opened some kind of portal, which I think, okay, well, maybe if no one saw Sir Fulke until the 20s and 30s when they needed to start opening the grounds up, maybe he wasn't there until Alistair Crowley did his
Stirred
voodoo
that shit
sex
up.
magic. Yeah.
Mhm.
So ghosts are specifically tied to this room. People tend to get lightheaded in this room. There is a plaque on the wall in that room talking about, in this room, shit went down. The ghost of a little girl carrying flowers is said to be seen, blah, blah, blah. So recently, I can't remember what year it was, but recently, this woman was taking a picture. She was in Warwick Castle all by herself. She was taking a picture of this plaque, and then she got home. And I mean, look at that picture right there. I'll definitely put it on Instagram. There's someone. There's the outline of a man, right?
Yeah,
clearly
it's clear as day.
And so
Yeah.
if you go to Warwick Castle, in a lot of the rooms, they do have like wax figures. Like there's a room that has like a wax figure of Henry VIII. There's a room that has like wax figures of like the Victorian people and stuff like that. And she was like, I don't think there was a wax figure in that room, but I'm not sure. But I know I was alone because she was a tourist and she was like one of the first people there. Because me and Steve, we went on like a weekday because we were tourists basically. And yeah, on a Tuesday at 10 a.m., it's not super hopping. You know, I think towards lunch and stuff, there was like a little bit more people. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she was the only person in the room. So she sent this picture to the people in Warwick Castle because this was recent enough for it to be like emailed it to them, just being like, do y'all see a figure of a man in this plaque? And they were like, yeah. So they checked the security cameras, the CCT cameras, and they're like, there's no one in the room with you while you were taking that picture. Isn't that creepy? Right? Like, so I'll definitely post this picture on our Instagram, but that is spooky wooky, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, like it is clearly a person. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. But oh my gosh, creepy.
Right.
Ooh.
I wonder if the Greville family was either just like super adept to conjuring these things or like tied to, I don't know.
Maybe so.
I don't know. But yeah, that room seems to be, particularly haunted these days. And I wonder if it's because of that seance with Alistair Crowley just opened a floodgate or
Maybe
something.
so. Just like ripped something open.
Fun
yeah.
fact, Alistair Crowley had this house that was like supposed to be tied to all kinds of spooky wooky stuff. And Jimmy Page bought it in the 70s. Everyone's always kind of been like, is Jimmy Page a wizard? Now Jimmy Page is like in his 70s or 80s, but he's got a super hot 30-year-old girlfriend who's like a famous poet or something. So I'm like, he might be a wizard.
So, he's a witch.
Yeah. Okay. I have a less scary one before we get to more scary stuff and wrap this up. A less scary one, the Japanese tourist. There's the ghost of a Japanese tourist, and he only appears to other Japanese tourists.
That's very specific. Good for him,
And
though.
they're all like, he's friendly. He seems really nice. But yeah, so there's the ghost of a Japanese tourist. Nobody really knows why. It's like, okay, did he die there? Like, no one, Japanese tourist? It's just kind of, I guess he just likes the space. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to go back into the dungeon. So I've got,
No, I don't want to go.
I'm sorry. I've got 2 more stories. So again, like I said, when I went, the dungeon was kind of more like a haunted house. Like it was more fun. There was actors and yeah, it was all very silly. And I do wonder if they do that because so many people have talked about like when they go down there, when it's just kind of looking more like it did back in the day, just so much bad energy. People talk about feeling like someone's trying to push them down the stairs when they're at the top of the stairs down into the dungeon.
Ugh.
People talk about feeling like people are pulling on their clothes, pulling their hair. I was looking at some pictures of the dungeon because that's not what it looked like when I went there. And it's like some of the dungeon cells are so skinny and tall, like you can't even sit down in them. And so like they would hold people in those. There's like all kinds of like medieval contraptions for like torture and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of spirits down there that are pissed the fuck off. And
I would be too.
yeah. So yeah, people are just like, the energy is off down here. The vibes are off. People claim to hear moans and groans, claim to feel like just tired or like they're going to throw up. Yeah, just creepy all together. But there is one spirit called the Black Lady that seems to be tied, and it looks like a black woman in a cloak. And she's very specifically only seen in the dungeons or in the chapel, which makes me think she's coming up to be like, oh, now we're gonna act like good Christians while you got people tortured downstairs, you know?
Ooh, that's creepy.
So-
I get it though.
Some people think it might be Maul, because the Black Lady and the Black Dog have never been seen in the same room at the same time. The shapeshifter. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I bet it is.
Maybe. I mean, because she was held in the dungeons.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, one
Ooh.
more story. It's a bummer. Maybe I should have ended with the Japanese tourist. I don't know. So there's a monk. This is another one that I really struggled to find consistent stories on, like what time period this would have been. But there was a monk, and he started a relationship with a woman. And as his punishment, he was executed in Warwick Castle by being bricked into the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But I don't know, like I couldn't get like what part of the castle, I couldn't find much on this. You would think that something like that, they would have already gone and like found the wall and got the.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find anything on that. But the only reason I want to bring it up is because Nathan, click on this link here from the Sun. A dad brought his 2 kids and was taking pictures because it's very scenic. But look at that picture. Doesn't it kind of look like a monk?
Oh, that's creepy. It gives me, like, whenever we did the Hampton Court, it's like the Skeletor
Yeah.
vibes.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like,
also like, I'm like, well, maybe. I do wonder, though, because like I said, there's a lot of people that are like doing costumed actor bits. Like when I was there, the only place that they had people like doing dressed in weird costumes was the dungeon. But maybe this is somebody that was like working in the dungeon, like an actor. I don't know. But it seems like the story of the monk is like a long one. So who the fuck knows? But also because I think in this article, the dad is like, yeah, but we didn't see anybody there while we were taking the picture, you know, as a lot of the times ghost stories tend to go. So yeah, when I went to Warwick and did the ghost tour, I couldn't find anything just on these ghost stories I remember, but let me just do a couple of personal stories and then we'll wrap it up. One, the tour guide said that on Halloween, they always did like a haunted house type thing, but all of the employees didn't want to do it anymore because there'd be like this one part where a woman was supposed to hide behind like a curtain and then like jump out and be the gray lady and scare the people that were coming by. And she was like, every time I'm hiding behind that curtain, someone is pulling my hair. Someone is pulling on my clothes. Someone's like trying to scare me. And I'm there alone. Like at first they thought it was like one of their coworkers just fucking with them. And they're like, No. Another one, they said when they like did some renovations in the 70s, Queen Elizabeth came and stayed, and she requested a new room because the room she was in, there was somebody walking around in it. And I couldn't find
Ooh.
that story anywhere. That's just like somebody that worked there told the tour group that. And then they also said that one night they put a bowl on the table and drew chalk around it. And then everybody went home. And when they came back the next day, the bowl was outside of the line of chalk. And I, being who I am, was on this tour with my little Ghost Tracker app on my phone. And it said, whenever they said that, my Ghost Tracker app said related, which I'm like, maybe they're saying like, yeah, I'm related. I did that. Like, that's related to me. You know, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. So those are just some of the ghost stories associated with Warwick Castle. But we should still, even though it's haunted as fuck, we should still go visit it. It's really cute. It was lots of fun.
Oh, well, I bet. And the history there is just beautiful,
yes.
awesome, fabulous.
Yes. And so we'll definitely post pictures of Warwick Castle on Instagram, along with all the pictures that we're referencing in this episode. It's a really cool place. And if you're nearby, y'all should definitely go visit sometime.
Yes.
All right. Well, happy Halloween, Nathan.
Happy Halloweener.
Hello, this is Matt from the Explorers Podcast. I want to invite you to join me on the voyages and journeys of the most famous explorers in the history of the world. These are the thrilling and captivating stories of Magellan, Shackleton, Lewis and Clark, and so many other famous and not so famous adventurers from throughout history. Go to explorerspodcast.com or just look us up on your podcast app. That's the Explorers Podcast.